Hello and welcome to the first lesson on percentages, although I'm sure you've come across percentages having watched the fractions, decimals and percentages lesson. Well, this lesson we're just going to focus on percentages, and hopefully you'll be able to whiz through percentages calculating the percentage of an amount. Now, before we start, there are a few things you need to remember. The first thing is that percent means out of 100, and the second thing is, in order to calculate 10% of something, let's say 10% of 300, you just divide it by 10. So 10% of 300 is 30. So let's have a look at our example. Here we've got 300 in this cloud here, and I'm going to work out, well, let's stick with 10% to start with. As I told you, all we have to do is divide by 10. So 300 divided by 10 is 30. Now if I wanted to work out 20%, well, I've already got 10%, so if I just double that, that'll give me 20%. So 30 times 2 is 60. What about if I wanted to work out 30%? Well, you could just times that by 3 if you wanted. Or, if you wanted to, you could add 10% to 20%, which would give you 30%. And 30 plus 60 is 90, which is the same as 30 times 3. How about if I wanted to work out 5%? Well, you can take your 10% and you can halve it, which would give us 15. So the last question that I want to think about is, how about if I wanted to work out 65%? This looks to be a really complicated percentage. What is 65% of 300? Well, 10 plus 20 is 30, plus another 30 is 60, plus 5 is 65. So by adding up all those clouds, I would get the answer to 65%. 30 plus 60 is 90, plus another 90 is 180, plus the 15 is 195. So, quite easy. Here's a question for you to try and figure out. Okay, so here we are at the questions that I'd like to attempt. I've left this one in here as quite a tricky one. So, in the middle we've got our amount, which is in this case £240. What I'd like you to do is work out 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 5%, 55%, and for those of you who need the extension or want to try and push yourself, 16%. Best of luck.